Folks, it's Team of the Year season. Today's episode is Short Side Wristers. I'm going to go over Team of the Year news, as well as some other hot stuff, because the market's about to crash. I'm No Sleeves 12. I forgot what I was going to say here for that intro. Alright, sick start. Oh man, I'm getting good at this. Thought I'd start this video off with a gigantic pack pull. Here it is, boys. Hashtag do your sets.
John C.
So many good dad jokes today. Yikes. Anyways, let's discuss what's happening in HUT recently as today. So basically, the Team of the Year was announced today by the NHL on Twitter. So today they announced some cryptic thing stating that tomorrow there would be a Team of the Year announced. We don't know if it's all of them, more than likely not. If it's community, probably is. Offensive, defensive, young guns, we have no idea. Let's just assume it's community, and that means if it comes out on a Wednesday, there's going to be a vote. This also coincides with the GWC releasing their tokens if you signed up and registered on Battlefy for the Gaming World Championships this season. You would have gotten your collectible, depending on what country you're registered in, and that'll allow you entry into the qualifier tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and that runs until the 17th. Again, it's win-based, so, you know, it's just a big game of dodgeball for a week. That being said, let's discuss the HUT implications. So, Team of the Year is finally here. All right, so maybe you're new to HUT, maybe you don't really pay attention all that much. You're trying to build a team for maybe this qualifier or maybe the next 3 for the Gaming World Championship, and you just want some info on it. Well, here's the thing. What happens when Team of the Year comes? The market tanks, and not in a terrible way. It's just that the 95s that were available and cost, 7 to 900K are now worth 600. Let's take Marcel Dion. He's one of my players on my team. I went and searched today. He's about 600K, and when Team of the Year comes out, he's probably going to drop to like 400 or even less, and then fall further and further and further. So tonight, you want to be ballsy? Sell all your cards. I won't, because I'm terrified to do that because I have one of the best teams. But yeah, man, if you really want to go all in, any legend that is under 95, sell them all. I mean, you could buy them back probably for much less. I know a lot of players that I talk to, a lot of high-end players are doing that. For example, selling like the 97 Gaborik, for 500-600K, buy it back, tomorrow once or this weekend when Team of the Year comes out. Some of the cards come out and they're in packs. That the 99s that are available. It just drops every other card because Team of the Year are the best cards, and they also, if they act like last year, will upgrade. They will always be the highest rated card, meaning that if they are a playoff team, they will improve as the playoffs go on. Let's also discuss some other news in esports. I know, I'm sorry, for whatever reason, everyone thinks that esports in NHL is terrible. Not so much how it's run, but just the fact that it's even in NHL. But regardless, let's discuss it. Nasher and Arda announced on Twitter today that the Columbus Blue Jackets will be hosting another Versus NHL tournament, this time in Columbus. It's going to be run almost mimicking the Winnipeg Jets, where it's the winners of the qualifiers that will be flown out to Columbus to compete for a $7,500 prize pool. It's not best of one, so there you go. That's a great change. But what's more interesting is that more and more teams, it looks like there's a few others that are going to be announcing. We have no in-depth knowledge of what that is. I don't really have any insider sources, but it looks like there are some other ones that will be announcing. Also, that is weird, considering that HUT went to the Gaming World Championship, which is the end-all, be-all tournament, 100K prize pool, is Hockey Ultimate Team. All these other teams are still announcing tournaments that are versus. That isn't a terrible thing. It's just odd, given how it's working, but if these teams are running them individually, then that kind of makes sense. So while the Gaming World Championship is taking place on HUT, we got a new comp season that was announced. It's Ultimate Team again. Ultimate Team packs. This, I don't know what it is, man. It's like every comp season is getting worse and worse as the season goes on. There's no player ones, like, it's just, there's no point in grinding. For example, I finished 17th in the last round of the Playoff Predictor one. The highest rated card I pulled was a 84 Dustin Byfuglien. there's no point in grinding for these because they're not a guaranteed reward. I mean, sure, you get packs and whatnot, and you maybe get set fodder so you can do your rerolls, but there's really no advantages to them. It's a kind of a shame that it looks like they're just kind of mailing it in for the rest of the year. Team of the Year is obviously going to bring back a huge buzz because it always does, but it's sad to see. They've done so many good things in Hut this year as far as the market goes. Not so much gameplay, but how the market's been. There hasn't been any Ruby sets or Ice sets or the Bronze collectible thing that came out when the World Juniors happened in NHL 18, where everyone got like 8 million coins. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's just... You'd think that they'd plan it out a little bit further or just throw in some cards for it. I don't know how hard it is for programming. I know that they put a lot of these comp seasons and everything in advanced, far in advanced. It just kind of sucks to see. I do like the fact that they're doing a bunch of playoff predictor cards. So, for example, today we got a few more, one being my boy Marc-Edouard Vlasic. So he's a 93 right now because the Sharks are going to make the playoffs and not be a wild card team. So that's good to see. It's nice that they're putting in cards that, you know, haven't had fantastic seasons, so they don't have a lot of prime times. They're not going to get a team of the year, and you can still use them. There's value to that. So, for example, like Kevin LeBanc, like that's a cool card for me as a Sharks fan because his normal card is like not even an 80, right? So it's just a cool little touch that they're doing. And they're not ruining the market with them because they're not, you know, not releasing a ton that can be 98s. I did, however, pick up the Boone Jenner and the Dougie Hamilton. I hope you guys listen to me. I want to talk about that for a second. Columbus, they're in a bit of a weird spot. Carolina, if you can pick up the Dougie Hamilton card for something that isn't, you know, an absurd price. First of all, he's my first pairing defenseman now. Dude's a unit with a good shot. He can also be used on the wing because he's got a great wrist shot. But Carolina looks like they're going to be in the wild card again come Friday because they update every Monday and Friday, right? So that's kind of good news. Columbus, man, I have the most faith in Columbus beating Montreal. I've said this all year. I actually have a bet with somebody on League Gaming for $100 that Montreal won't make the playoffs this year, and they've had an amazing run, but their team just isn't as talented. I'm going to get flamed in the comments, I know. Like, I'm already annoyed at the comments I'm going to get with that. But here, anyways, regardless, Columbus has a much better team on paper, and they're just not gelling on the ice. They have a much tougher road, but I think that they will get in. In the West, man, Minnesota, I had no faith in Minnesota, even after the deadline, but they rattled off some wins, but they just looked flat against my Sharks last night. I think that either Colorado or, more surprisingly, Arizona will pass them. I don't know if it'll be by Friday, but I think that they actually will fall out by Monday, to be honest with you. So if you've got the Zucker, who's a fantastic card, I would probably sell high on him, to be honest with you. If for anything, you get a ton of coins so you can buy Team of the Year stuff. But I would dump any of the Minnesota Wild guys. Again, just a hunch, like my Dougie Hamilton one. But Dallas looks to be locked in as well, so the SL Lindell is probably going to be the 98 still come Friday. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing the predictor sets. So, guys, that does it for me today. If you do like the videos and whatnot, or the the podcast, if you're listening to it on Spotify, just let me know. I love the subscriptions. Show some love, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more content and an update maybe on my first round of GWC games if I play them, because it's going to be a nightmare. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'm NoSleeves12. Have a good one.